The House descended, as I digress, the House descended into chaos Wednesday when a GOP revolt spurred by President-elect Donald Trump and Elon Musk sank the original deal that House Speaker Mike Johnson had reached with Democrats. Republicans huddled on Capitol Hill on Thursday, crafting a new way forward without input from Democrats. President-elect Trump is just that, the president-elect. He's not president right now, but he out here, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, if I pronounce his name correctly, they with Doge, they just out here making plays like they actually in the game, but they're not even on the team yet, let alone in the game. This is crazy. This is insane. Mike Johnson here, I believe he's the leader of the Republicans in the House. Johnson defended the new bill Thursday night, saying some bipartisan measures are still included in the new version. The only change in the legislation is that we are going to push the debt limit to Jan 30, 2027. So the end of January 2027. Johnson and Louisiana Republicans said. The new version is considerably slimmer at 116 pages compared to 1,547 pages. Yeah, I can see 116 pages as if I've read one of these, but that seems a little bit more reasonable than 1,500. That is insane. In the original continuing resolution, Trump immediately weighed in after its release, calling it a success, a very good deal. Because Trump, like, yeah, don't put some stuff in and I'm going to have to, be like, why the hell did y'all do this? I also think, too, as I slightly digress and change subjects, as I always do, even though you're still technically president, because I know we vote, right? We just voted in 2024, but president-elect doesn't take effect until January 20th or whenever inauguration day is. When the current sitting president is no longer going to be president, whether they're have no more terms left or they didn't run or lost the election. Not saying this is ever going to happen or this is should be a thing, but should there be a way to be like, all right, you can't just since you're about to be on your way out the door, just trash the place in short. Let's just sort of keep it kind of copacetic and just let things sort of do whatever they were going to do without you just all right, I'm just going to make all these changes. And when new people get in, they're going to be like, dang, because at the end of the day, we want America to get better and move forward and don't just come in here and sully the position. What's going on? And we're at the door. That's crazy. And not saying President Biden did that, but just in general, those type of positions. What is it? I got to add Jesus. All right, Sony. Those type of positions, I believe, will need to be heard. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, a New York Democrat representative, said the proposal is not serious and called it laughable. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, praised the failed vote, saying now it's time to go back to the bipartisan agreement. How are they if the government is going to shut down tomorrow night, technically tonight, because you guys are hearing this Friday, how are they going to, if they're going to put it back to 1,500 pages, how are they going to, say they're going to redo all 1,500 pages? No way. I don't even care how much you divide and conquer where they got 435 people in the House, another 100, so 535 people. I guess that's 3 pages of 3 pages a person, but you still got to bring it all together, make sure everyone agrees on it, right? That's what they're voting on. And you're gonna look at me and tell me they fully understand 1,500 pages worth of information and be like, I want all of this. I'm voting for everything in here. That's crazy. I don't see why they just can't break it up until we just want to pass this and that and this and that. In a statement Thursday evening, White House Press Secretary Cory Jean-Pierre said Mr. Biden, isn't it President Biden said it, Mr. Biden? Anyways, it's definitely President Biden. Is she really calling him Mr. Biden? Anyways, President Biden supports the bipartisan agreement to keep the government open. I would think help communities recovering from disasters and lower costs, not this giveaway for billionaires that Republicans are proposing at the 11th hour. Trump and the debt ceiling. As GOP anger grew over the original continuing resolution, the president-elect called on Republicans to strip out additional spending and add a new element instead, raising or abolishing the debt ceiling. Trump said, get rid of the debt ceiling or raise it. They've been raising the debt ceiling my damn whole life. I just don't see, It is what it is. The debt ceiling, which limits how much the government can borrow to pay its bills, is suspended. Don't you wish you could just sign something into action, just raise your debt ceiling, increase your credit limit? Not saying that'd be a good thing, but that's essentially what they're doing here. The debt ceiling, which limits how much the government can borrow to pay its bills, is suspended until the first quarter of next year. And Trump said he preferred to force Mr. Biden. There's no way they keep saying Mr. Biden. Trump said he preferred to force Mr. Biden to approve raising the debt ceiling so he wouldn't have to. Trump trying to deal with the immigration on day one. Trump reiterated his position on Thursday in a phone conversation with CBS News' Robert Costa. Number one, the debt ceiling should be thrown out entirely, Trump said. Number two, a lot of the different things they thought they'd receive in a recently proposed spending deal are now going to be thrown out 100%, and we'll see what happens. We'll see whether or not we have a closure during the Biden administration, but if it's going to take place, it's going to take place during Biden, not during Trump. Still, Trump said the standoff could be resolved in a number of ways that would be very good. I mean, let me see what the inauguration is. The inauguration is January 20th, so literally in a month, right? So we got 30 days, 31 days until Trump is president again. I mean, these type of decisions where it's like, if we're going to possibly have a new president, it's meaning like before, in general, not that fact that we're all going to have a new president, but just in general, based on how things align, why would we want such a big issue like government shutdown be occurring 30 days, a month before the transition, especially when the parties are going to flip, like in this case? While stripping out most of the additional funding from the now collapsed deal is likely to satisfy many Republicans, Democrats spent the day slamming Johnson for walking away from their agreement. True, but I mean, hey, these are Republicans, not Democrat. They argue Republicans will shoulder any blame for a potential shutdown. Republicans about to control the whole government, so I mean, it is what it is. The whole federal government, all the branches. When I say that, Jeffrey said earlier, for 2 years, by the way, if you didn't know, we're going to vote again for 2 years. So for those of y'all who are upset about the Republicans having control of the House and the Senate, you can vote in 2 years to get those seats flipped. They argue Republicans will shoulder any blame. Jeffrey said earlier Thursday they were resolved to continue to stand up for the best interests of the American people, while lambasting House Republicans who he said detonated. Is that how you say detonated? That's not how you say detonated. No, I'm feeling a little slow. It is detonated. All right, the bipartisan agreement because they have been ordered to shut down the government.